Finding a vocal warm-up that works for a big group of people is tricky because every individual voice operates so differently. What might work really well for one person could potentially do the total opposite for somebody else. Now, one of the best exercises to do in a group is something called the lip bubble, and I'm going to talk you through that in a second. But before we do any of that, I just want to explain a little bit about what the vocal cords look like. Now, some people say the vocal cords are bits of string that hang down in your throat, and that is not right. The vocal cords are actually two tiny muscles the size of your thumbnails that sit together in your larynx, and they sit above your windpipe. So as air comes up from our lungs, it causes the vocal cords to vibrate, which then puts sound and vibration out into the world. Now, we were never designed to sing. That's something that's evolved over a period of time. The primary function of the vocal cords is to stop us from dying. So when we eat and drink, the vocal cords shut off totally to stop food and water going into our lungs. What can often happen when we sing is that our swallowing muscles get involved and can cause some tension as we go up and down in the register. Now, you might have experienced that, any of that squeezing or tightness that comes in from the throat. That can be really damaging for the voice. It can be really difficult and be quite stressful as well to sing. The lip bubble eliminates this. The whole point of the lip bubble is that it's super easy. There's no stress, there's no pressure. Your vocal cords can just operate naturally from the bottom to the top of your voice. And what's really important with this is to tune into your own body. We're living creatures. Every day is different, every hour is different. What might feel really good at one point in the day might feel really difficult at another point in the day. So it's about being really present and tuning into what your body needs at any given time. So the way to do the lip bubble, because obviously in your first session you might be looking around feeling a bit odd that everyone's doing this weird thing with their lips. So you want to firstly put your fingers on your jawline and move your fingers right down to your chin. It's very easy to feel like you need to push into your cheeks or you need to move things around. You don't. You just need to rest your fingers here. And without any sound, almost a bit like a horse, you want to go. Now that is easier to do with your fingers here. Without, you have to use other muscles to get that sort of energy. It's a bit harder. If you rest your fingers, it's not too bad. Now that's the first part of this exercise. Part two is we add a bit of sound to it. So can you say, oh, as low as you can? Oh. Love it. I mean, if you're doing it now, it sounds wicked. And we put those two sounds together, so we have a type feeling. This might feel a little tricky to begin with, and often the first time you do it, you might end up with a bit of a, and that just means we need to squeeze our lips together a little bit more. It's about creating resistance, and it allows the vocal cords to function and vibrate in a really natural way. What we then do is add that to a scale. So you go up and down in the scale, trying to keep everything as neutral as possible. What we don't want to happen is, because that will cause some tension. We don't want, because that's going to be really breathy. It's about practicing this and getting used to it over a period of time to ensure that the lips don't break apart and that you don't have any tension. It's about putting the two sounds together and causing a bit of balance all the way through the voice. If you start to feel any tightness, that's your sign to stop. If you feel like it's becoming really breathy, that's your sign to stop, which is why I always say tune into what your body is doing on any given time. It's really important that, you know, what worked earlier in the day might not work later in the day, and it's important that we notice that so we're not pushing our voice to do things that doesn't feel natural. On this exercise, as we get higher, you might feel that it breaks. That's the point. You want to smoothly cross from one area of the voice to another without any tension. And give it a go, practice it, try it out, and really tune into what your body needs. And it's such a great and relaxing way to start any session.